What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Servant King TV here on the Servant Reel. I'm your host, Servant King, and y'all know what we do. We sit down, man. We talking to the entrepreneurs, the creators, the influencers. We just pick their brain and find out what it is that they're doing. What are they doing to push the culture forward? What are they starting? What is it they got going on? So we do here, and today I got a very special guest, Kaleisha. She's a business owner. She's in the industry that I don't think a lot of us know about, and if we know about it, we don't know how to get in it, and if we know how to get in it, we don't know how to make no money from it. And she's gonna break down all of that today. So how you doing today?
I'm all right.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
So before we get into the business, kind of tell me a little bit about yourself, your upbringing, and your childhood a little bit.
All right. Well, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval.
Right,
Go Jags.
Mhm.
Love my team. Love my city.
Mhm.
I lived here all my life.
Okay.
All my life.
Bring the mic kind of closer just to make sure.
All right.
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
All right. Lived here all my life, and I went to elementary school, middle school, high school here. Graduated from Inglewood, and
You Duval down.
yeah, down.
All down.
And I even went to college here in Duval back when ITT was a thing.
Okay. I remember that.
It's crazy to see how I started out in a totally different industry,
right.
thinking that my path was going to take me for working for someone else, and to see me kind of flop is very interesting.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So you went to ITT Tech. So what was your goal when you first went to ITT Tech? What was your future looking like? What's something you thought you were gonna do when you went there?
Man, I wanted to work in cybersecurity. I wanted to catch hackers. I wanted to. In heart, I'm a nerd.
Okay,
and a lot of people don't see that by looking at me. But I'm real into tech. I love computers. I love everything about it at that time.
Okay.
Graduating from high school, and I ended up taking a program with networking and computers, and realized like halfway through it, this ain't what I want to do, because you became that person that everybody just comes to. You got to do what I say. Fix my computer. Hook up my thing. My printer ain't working, and I wanted to be in charge of something.
Right.
So then I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't for me.
Right.
And I'm never one to quit something I started, so I finished it. I went all the way through, finished it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the adult thing.
Right, and just stick it through.
Yeah, and ended up falling into a bunch of other things. Like I've worked in several industries. I've worked for nursing schools. I've worked for diving schools. I've worked for the courthouse. I've worked in customer service.
You sound like me. So you done everything.
I did it all.
Right. Okay.
Just trying to see where I fit in.
Right.
And realizing that ain't
nowhere.
where I fit in.
You don't fit in nowhere. Right. Okay. So speak up. Do you have a family?
I do. I've been married for 6 years. I have a 4-year-old son that comes with his own set of challenges.
I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. Okay. So when you talk about working in those industries, they have any effect on how you were viewing yourself and your family? So when I say that, okay, sometimes I used to work places and I'd be like, man, I don't want my daughter to know I do this. This ain't nothing I would want her to go to school and tell her kids, oh, my dad is the garbage man. No disrespect to garbage man, but I don't want, that's just not something I wanted. Did that play any effect on you, or that didn't?
So actually, yes, that was actually the reason I chose to do what I'm doing. Okay. And just a little bit about my marriage. My husband's actually active duty, so that comes with his own set of challenges. Half of the year, he's not even here.
Right. Okay.
But I still got to try to find a way to, have my own identity.
Absolutely.
And moving around a lot and realizing that I was jumping through so many careers because we was moving so much,
Right. Okay. So that's why you changed a lot of jobs, was because you were relocating here and relocating there. Okay.
Yep. And this was the straw for me, which again, no disrespect, but just I had standards for myself and what I wanted to be, and I ended up working in the stock room at Polo.
Okay.
And I was like, it paid good. I was getting $16 an hour, but I'm like, damn, I'm college educated. I'm like, dang, I'm college educated, and this is, and I said the same thing. I don't want my son to look at me and be like, my mom fold clothes.
Right.
And I'm like, I wanted better for myself. I wanted to be more than just a mom, a wife, and someone who go at night and fold clothes.
Right. It's crazy because somebody with a small mind would say, man, I would love to work at Polo. You get free clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I got so much Polo.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I can imagine you got all the Polo that you can think of, and somebody would be like, bro, I don't work at Polo, bro. For $16 an hour, that's like so much more than that. Okay, so let's get into what it is you actually do, and then we'll talk about how you transition into getting actually into that. So what is it that you're doing? Your business?
So my business is cosmetics. I'm in the beauty industry, so I sell handmade products. Everything's handmade: soaps, scrubs, salts, body butters, and my business name is Uniquely. It's uniquely because everything is uniquely made.
Right.
You know, everything that you get from me is gonna smell the same, but it's gonna look different because it's handmade by me.
Right. So when what was the job that you went from? What was the job before you decided to say, okay, let me get my hands into products?
It was Polo.
Oh, so Polo was the last straw. Okay.
Because it wasn't nothing wrong with it. I love the people, love the place, but like I said, I done did, count on both hands how much stuff I've done, and it's like, you need to get it together.
Right.
You know, you're 30 years old, you're a mother, you got a husband who has a career, and you like,
Gotcha. Okay. So what was it that made you say products though? Like, you know what I mean? What was it that made you say I'm gonna start doing this?
I was gonna drop ship.
Right.
You know, I went through a bunch of different things before I decided on what I was gonna do. I was gonna sell jewelry because that was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I had a lot of mentors and people in my ear that convinced me not to go in a lot of those directions and to follow something that I was passionate about. And somebody said to me, you know what? You should sell soap. And I'm like, soap?
Right.
I'm like, nobody's going to just buy soap. Who wants to buy, to me, that it was foreign to me.
Right.
Until I started, looking on the internet, looking around, realizing, like, who is out here doing
buying
this.
Soap, yeah.
And that's how I started with just, I think, like 20 different scents. And the feedback that I got from my family was just so discouraging because they was thinking like me, like, nobody's going to buy something they can't smell. They don't know who you is. Why would they buy your stuff? And I'm like, I don't know,
Right. And it's crazy because, and this is what I try to tell a lot of people, especially inspiring entrepreneurs when you're going out to start something. Your family is not the people that you start with. It's not. They don't know. They don't own nothing. They don't own nothing. So you can't, like, usually the people in your circle start supporting you after everybody else starts supporting you. That's not every case, but in most cases,
it's easier to sell to a stranger than it is to sell to somebody you know.
A lot easier.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so you start with soap. Now, first of all, how do you go into selling soap? Because it's funny that somebody would say, well, don't nobody know you. How they buy soap? Well, ain't nobody know Dove either.
That's true.
Initially, and Spring Fever or whatever they call. So what's the process? First let's talk about the mind shift that made you say, I'm going with soap. So you say you've seen people out here selling soap. So.
A friend of mine, my best friend Naj, he goes to like farmers markets all over where he travels, and he met a guy who makes and sells this stuff. So when he's the one that originally told me, you should do this, man. This stuff is, he be having people lined up at his table every time I go, and people follow him around the country doing these little festivals and fairs to buy his stuff. So he brings me some. I'm like, man, I've never used anything like this. Like, this is legit, you know? And he's pitching it to me, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out.
Absolutely.
And at that time, I didn't have a lot. I had a little bit of savings, and I just went for it. I'm like, it's not to sound conceited, to toot my own horn. There's not many things I try that I fail at. Because I'm thorough. I research. I count every penny before I spend it to make sure.
So you don't just jump out and do nothing. You make sure that when I do it, we're gonna do it right.
We're gonna do it right.
Okay.
And I did it. Gave it to some of my friends, my family, just to get some feedback. And everybody was like, "Man, where you get this from?" I'm like, "It's mine.
It's mine." Yeah. Right. Now you want to know where it come from. Right. Okay. So you get the response. You get the feedback. So now, I'm assuming you don't have it structured as a business yet at this time.
No, man. I was thinking, this is gonna be a hobby for me. I need something that's like I said, I wanted my son to look at me and be like, my mom's doing this.
Soap. Right.
And I didn't think it was going to be wildly successful because, again, I got everybody in my ear saying the same thing. I'm thinking, nobody knows who you are. How you going to get people to buy this mess? And,
Right.
So at that time, it was a hobby. And I would say in about 2 or 3 months, it was a business.
Right.
It was a whole business. And I was looking at myself like I'm a CEO of a business.
Right. So what kind of revenue are you seeing before you like, all right, it's more than a hobby? If you want to share it, if not, we talked about it, so I know you getting it. We talked about it, so you ain't got to put it on here if you don't want to. But
I'll share very vaguely. My first month, I made almost $2,000 selling to strangers.
Right.
Because I had none of my family wanted to buy it.
Right.
Just being honest, I gave them their free ones, and they're like, when I'm gonna get another free one.
Right.
They $8 now.
Right. We over that part. We over the samples. Right. Okay.
So that first month was like, okay, this is good. I'm thinking that's how it's gonna be.
Right.
The next month, it almost doubled, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Right.
Hold up.
Right.
Let me step back, and then I start realizing, I'm getting busy. I'm staying up all night, just trying to keep up, and the adrenaline. It was like, I got to make something else. People is buying this.
Right.
And by that time, I had repeat customers. So I'm like, got to make something else. I don't want them to get bored.
Right. So now you coming up with creative concepts.
Yep.
Okay. So what's that process like as far as what goes into soap, right? Like, how are you figuring out? Okay, so we walk down the aisle now. You see, I don't know, white grape soap, and then you got this. So you know what I mean? Like, so what process, or what are you using now to say, okay, let me switch up from what I've had? Because my original customers eventually gonna get tired of this. Let me give them something new. What went into that thought process?
So originally, I was just piling on the soaps. I ended up with like 40 cents. Right. And then realized, like, if I'm gonna do other things.
Right.
This is a bit much. I had on my third month, I had to discontinue products that were selling well.
Really?
But I just couldn't keep up if I was gonna make a scrub, a bath salt, a body butter, or this or that.
Okay, so now you're trying to. So you was trying to kind of diversify.
Exactly.
What you were selling, not just soap. Now I want to step into. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm looking. Like I said, I'm calculated. I did a lot of research, and I found that a lot of people fail in businesses that sell one product because they don't have anything to help their margins.
Right.
You have that one product, that one margin, and you put it on sale.
Right.
But
And then when it fall off, now I ain't got nothing else.
Yeah, and where other businesses make up the difference in other products.
Okay.
And specifically, people selling soaps.
Right.
Wouldn't make it past their first year because either the people got bored or you can't really profit off of one thing. Just honestly, unless it's a service. Right.
That's needed. Right. I could always go somewhere and get some cheaper soap, and I don't care what it smells like. If I ain't got no money, I just need some. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So now you get into the diversifying. Now, as far as structuring the business, had you already got the LLC? Had you already done that before you started getting into different products? Or
I did.
It was one. Okay, kind of talk about that.
I did. I remember I was saying I was going to drop ship. I was going to sell jewelry. I registered my LLC probably in December.
Oh, okay, got you. So you had already had the paperwork as far as the LLC goes.
When COVID hit, and I came to this mindset like I got to do something. This is not it for me.
Right.
And when everybody else was quarantined, I was in that house, writing stuff down, registering my business, and doing everything I got to do during that downtime. And I think that's what really put me ahead.
Right,
once they let us out a little bit.
Right. I was already ready. Yeah, you was already ready. Okay. Man, so tap into that, because let the media tell it. COVID has taken so many people out. People lost this and people lost that, right? And I'm not taking that from anybody. There's another group of people who used that time, said, you know what? I'm finna figure it out. Your jobs ain't guaranteed. Tomorrow ain't guaranteed. One stream of income ain't they doing it. I now have to figure something out. What's the mindset? So let's take it back before you even got fully into it. What's the mindset behind COVID is here, I'm in this house, let me try something new?
Honestly, boredom at first, because I was one of, I ain't gonna say I was the few people, but when they quarantined us that very first time, I stayed in the house.
No, right.
And
okay, so you didn't go nowhere.
No, it became 2 weeks. And then it became 4 weeks.
Right,
then it was like, and I'm like, okay,
I gotta do something.
Everybody else been going outside.
Right,
I've been sitting here.
Right,
I got bored and just started realizing, I hadn't been working because everybody was out of work because of COVID.
That's right.
Nobody was getting unemployment.
Right.
And I'm like, I got to try to do something. I'm gonna try to do something that travels with me because I was jumping all over the place because I moved.
Okay, right. Something you could take with you in case
something
you move.
I could take with me.
Okay.
And like I said, just was talking to my homie, and he threw it out there. I was like, I'm going to start a business. I even created a whole website for a business that I never launched because I was like, I'm going to sell jewelry.
Right.
And he was like, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
And I appreciate people like that that's honest with you, for real.
Yeah. How important is that? Because sometimes people are... All right, so you got people that be honest with you, and they don't know what they talking about. They just being negative. And then you got some people that won't be honest with you. They'll just tell you what you want to hear, which is good on the surface because you want to hear what you want to hear, and then they ain't telling you the truth. No. So how important is that being in life, just having those people to be honest with you, regardless if you want to hear it or not?
And it's extremely important, especially in business. It's a lot of money that go into this. And if I had gave everyone my soaps and it broke them out and, they got rashes on their neck, then if y'all would have lied to me about that, where would I be? So that honest feedback, that support right there, it ain't got to be about buying something. Just be honest with somebody about something that they trying to do.
Right. Is that needed in business? Like, I think some people take negative feedback, they take it in a negative way, but sometimes you need that. Like, you need those customers. Those customers say,
how it is.
I don't like that.
Yeah, your packaging ain't right, man. My box was all bent up, and I got a lot of that at the beginning. Not negative towards my product, how I was shipping things. Things would become damaged because I don't know. I didn't know how to ship anything.
Right.
But them writing me that little message like, hey, I love my product, but this. I'm so sorry about your experience. Thank you for telling me. Now I could do better moving forward. And that's all you can ask for. If you don't satisfy the customer first, man, they paying me. They the reason I can eat. You know what I'm saying?
So we need to listen.
So if you don't like the way your box show up, let me know.
Let me know. I'll show it up in a different way. It's going to show up a different way next time. Okay, so now you in business. So how busy are you now? You making, you got to be moving at this point.
Man, speaking of busy, I currently have 2 strands of income because I sell on my own website and also sell on Etsy platform.
Okay.
I went viral on Etsy 2 weeks ago.
I heard of Etsy. What is Etsy? I heard of Etsy.
Etsy is a handmade marketplace.
Okay, that's what they make. They make the jewelry, beads, or whatever it is.
It could be. It depends on how you look at it, because some people think it's kind of like a flea market because they sell some of everything. But then there are people that take their craft seriously on there and sell very nice upscale things. But I got featured on Etsy's email blast and went out to like 13 million people.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And when I tell you, I don't know if anybody has Shopify or Etsy, but your phone does that cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Man,
feel good, don't
I thought my phone was going to break.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I was like, man.
Wow.
And it was a great feeling to know, I have that much support. All these strangers,
people
look
you
at
don't even know. Yeah.
And they were spending, $40, $50, $60, and this is all just, popping on my phone. Talk about crying and being grateful and blessed, and everything I sacrificed. All the nights I didn't sleep at all, but I still got to wake up and be a mom.
Yeah.
All of that made it worth it. Wanting to give up because this, I'm tired. I don't want to do this.
Right.
And pushing through all of that made it worth it.
Congratulations, 13 million. That is a audience. If you can reach 13 people. So what's some of your marketing tools? So first of all, how did you even get featured on Etsy? What was that process like? Did somebody just pick up on a product? Did you reach out to them? How did that connection even happen?
My 6 months. Well, I was only on Etsy for 6 months last year.
Okay.
I am in the top 98% of all sellers on Etsy in that 6 months. So Etsy's team reached out to me, called me they called me a beauty guru, right?
Okay.
And said that I have the best-selling soap on Etsy, And that's why because I guess they do it within the sales within a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So based on my short amount of time and everyone else that's on there selling
that, years and been on a year, yeah.
I caught up that quick. So that's how I got featured, and it was also a Black History Month feature. So they were featuring, Black creatives all month. Okay. And I got picked. Best thing that could ever happen to me.
Right. Such and it's crazy not to say that it was overnight for you, but I'm talking about how it starts off. Ain't nobody gonna buy my soap.
Exactly.
To people then telling you, ain't nobody gonna buy your soap. Don't nobody know you. So let me try this. I'm good at it. A couple people liking it. Now 13 million people see.
Get to see it.
No problem.
And I ended up with about 200 sales that day that email blast went out. Still trying to catch up on them orders 2 weeks later. Still trying to push them out because it's just me and my mom. My mom actually came on board. Right. And
so you already employing somebody.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So, okay, so now you fulfilling orders. So have you talked about Shopify? You have a Shopify store or what? How does that work? Talk to us about that.
iShopUnique.com. iShopUnique.com. All right. And I actually started that up back when I was trying to do everything else.
Right.
I knew the name.
So before you even got the soap started, you already had it. Yeah.
I had my website, and to be honest, I got discouraged when I first started because I launched. I was on Instagram. I was trying to reach people.
And nobody buying nothing.
Nobody bought nothing. So I'm like, let me see what Etsy talking about. Let me just see. Man, I went on there, and I think the first day, maybe like 10 minutes after I posted it, boom, somebody bought it. I was like, okay.
Okay. That's all it takes. Listen, once you get one sale, it puts you on. I'm a CEO. I'm a real CEO. Okay. Okay. So you get one sale, and then.
And it was kind of like that every day. One, then 2 a day, then 3 a day. Okay. And it kind of, Black Friday. Talking about wasn't ready. Right. Was not ready for Black Friday. I just didn't think. Like you said, I don't believe it happened to me overnight, but it kind of happened to me overnight. I kind of thought. Like I said, it was a hobby. I'm going to have time to build my business.
Right. I'm going to be able to catch up with all this demand.
Yeah, I think in my first, ain't nobody going to buy my stuff on Black Friday. They going to go to Bath and Body Works. Right. But they showed up. And like I think you just asked me about my marketing. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of just Instagram, reaching out to people. I spent a lot, my own money just advertising, getting it out there.
Yeah. Do you do ads? So how you do ads? You don't do ads, or what? How do you?
I do ads every now and again, but I got a pretty good word of mouth following on Instagram so that really helps out. I only run ads every now and again versus a lot of companies that have to run them constantly to get sales.
Right. So you already got that. All right, so speak to all your products. So we know soap is one of the that's your main. Kind of what you
that is my bread and butter.
That's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So what have you branched off and stepped into outside of just soap?
All right. So then I got body scrubs, which men and women need to exfoliate their body to keep it soft, to get all that dead skin off and built up residue from a lot of the detergents that we use. Because Dove is not a soap. Right. Look it up yourself. It's a detergent. And it does, even though they say, moisture, and it leaves you moisturized because it leaves that film on your skin.
Right.
So you need to, once a week, get that off. So I sell a scrub for that. Comes in, got 32 cents. And I got a lot of scents that cater to men. Right. And my husband is my biggest.
I know that's right. He better be.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we branched off into that. Then I moved into bath salts, which I got a lot of kind of pushback from people that I was asking, like, should I move into this? Would you buy it? Don't nobody take baths no more.
Right.
That's what everybody said. That's what they said. And I'm like, well, I take baths.
Right. So somebody else take baths too. Right.
So I came out with those bath salts. I want to say I sold, I think maybe 100 pounds of it. 100 pounds of salt is what I bought, and I sold it in a month.
Wow, but don't nobody take baths.
Take baths. So, and then from there, it went on to body butters. And that's the stage I'm at now. Okay. So just trying to kind of pick up from there, but just kind of piggybacking on that, you got to trust yourself. If you know that if it's for you, it's for you. Right. Just because you couldn't sell bath salts or they don't take baths don't mean, it's millions of people out there.
Right.
And that little bug in your ear, whether it's family, it's friends, or somebody like that, that will take all the courage out of you.
Yep,
that CEO that you had is gonna flush you right back down.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's one of those things we look to those people for affirmation, right? Especially if, as a child, they always told you, "Oh, you doing good, and you got this on your report card. You so smart and all that." So to then get up and want to do something, and then those same people say, "That ain't gonna work. Am I gonna do that?"
Exactly.
And I like you like, oh. Now you crushed, and now you want to go back to polo. You know what I'm saying? You want to go back to polo.
They appreciated me.
They appreciate exactly. They know I can fold clothes, but you didn't. But you didn't let that. You didn't let that stop you. How did you get though? How did you lock into that mindset? Because I know it's got to be hard when everybody around you saying it won't work. How do you lock in your mind? I don't care what nobody else say. I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna do it for me.
I locked into that by I didn't tell anybody about it. Anybody, only person that knew I was starting a business was my best friend because I asked his advice about it, and he's like, "You should do this."
Okay.
He's the one that was like, "You good at everything you touch turns to gold."
Right.
His favorite phrase is, "If you build it, they will come." So I'm like, I'm gonna build it.
I'm gonna build it. I'm
gonna build it. But I didn't tell anybody. I waited until I got that first sale that was from somebody I didn't know to be like, "Hey, I got this business. Y'all want to try this?"
That's right.
But it was hard and it was stressful because I took everything I had and not all of it. I took most of my savings put it all into this, and it could have failed because nobody's gonna buy soap from you on the internet, And like I said, I didn't sleep some nights. It was worth it to me. It couldn't fail. That was my mindset. I'm not gonna let it. If I have to get no sleep, I'm just not going to. If I have to put more money in it and go in a different direction, then I'm gonna just do that. But it's not gonna fail.
Right. Wow. That I love that story because you have so much of it didn't work, so I let it go. And usually it don't work after a day. It don't work after a week. It don't work after a month, and then people just throw away something that could be so big.
Exactly.
Because a day or two, or a week or two, or even a month or two. Sometimes it takes years for things to actually
start booming, especially in small business. You ain't gonna really see no money till like the third, fourth year.
Do you think social media plays a big part in that? Because a lot of times, and I'm a victim of it, so I'm not dissing nobody. I'm a victim of that. Like, you'll look comparing yourself. What it is sometimes, and then a lot of times we compare ourselves. We look at people. I know I'm smarter than him. I know I'm better than that. I know, you know what I'm saying. But he's doing it, I do it. So do you think social media plays a big part in people kind of giving up on what it is they want to do?
Absolutely, and we also got to remember everything we see ain't what it is on social media. They may look like they got it all, and then they ain't got nothing. So you're comparing yourself to an unrealistic idea of something that you don't even really know. So I'm victim of it too. Just being envious. Man, I wish I was doing that. Man, I wish I'd have thought of that. I wish I was there. Because it just everything looks so good on Instagram.
Because you can make it. Instagram got no filters for you now. You can make it look everything look good. Yeah. And then I think you have the other side of that. You might see people, and they have been grinding, but you don't see that part.
You just see the aftermath. They had blood, sweat, and tears. And as an entrepreneur, there's nights where you don't want it no more. Sometimes, and you got to fight to be hungry for it. Because everyone else is going to take, you don't know how many times somebody was like, well, then don't. What do you mean? No, I'm venting. Don't tell me.
Don't tell me don't. Wow.
Well, why? Just don't do it then. Like, nah, I need the smartest advice that someone told me was, if someone has to convince you to do it, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. And the fact that I didn't need anybody else to pick me up, because you're going to get pushed down. And it's going to feel like
pushed down. Man, that is the truth. Wow.
It's going to feel like you can't get up, and everything you try just ain't working, and it ain't work. I got better things to do, but you have to fight through that. Even if it means keeping your 9 to 5 and coming home every night and putting another 8 hours into it. It's what you want. You got to be hungry for that. And if you're not,
you're going to get it. I want you to speak more on the key word you said, sacrifice. But you put everything you had saved up this business. Right? So many times we want things that other people have, we don't know what they sacrifice to get it. Right? When you talk about you were convinced, is that part of? When you say you were convinced, is that part of that? Like you made up in your mind, I'm gonna do this, so I'm willing to take every penny I got, every dime I got saved up, I'm willing to put it in on this business. Was that part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, like I said, at least me, I saw myself. I could see my future, and it wasn't this.
Mm-hmm.
What I saw before me was not going to get me to what I imagined for myself, for my family.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm like, I got to do what it takes. And the hardest part of that was my husband not being there. Mm-hmm. And my son has autism. So that makes it a step harder for me. It's, man, like you said, people see the picture on Instagram, and y'all see my Instagram, and I'm smiling, but you don't know what I had to do the night before to get these orders out to y'all. Just, I'm half asleep with the tape.
Putting soap together, rolling boxes together. Wow. So what has Shopify done? I hear a lot about Shopify. What is it like? Has it helped automate a certain aspect of the business as far as shipping out and getting things sent out? How does that work?
Well, Shopify, the one that I have now, I still pretty much control it all. But I will say they do a really good job providing you with the resources you need to take control of your business.
Right.
So you have all the data that you need on your audience and all your analytics and everything that and man, it's a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of charts. You got to know your numbers. You got to Shopify really helps you know how much you spend, your cost of goods sold, how much your profit was on this sale, what your percentage was that you had to pay in credit card fees. You got to break all that down. And Shopify has its own marketing platform that helps you market everywhere. If you want to market on Google, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, Shopify help you.
You can link the account.
Yep.
Man. So we know where you at now. You're making big money. You're the soap dealer. You're in the soap game. What's first of all, so what's all the ways we can get our hands on the soap?
You can go through my Etsy shop or go through my website to make a purchase. And like I said, I got all kind of stuff. I even I forgot about that. Transition into beard oils and beard balm.
Come on, talk about it. Okay.
Little razzle dazzle for the men out there.
Okay, so you stepped into oils, beard oils, all right?
Yeah.
So what was that like? And okay, first, what was the thought process? Was that just you saying, all right, I need to diversify these products, or what? Or did somebody say, hey, I'll buy some beard oil from you? Like, what was it that made you say, let me try this?
My uncle, actually, and not to put anything against him, because I know my family supports me, but like you said, they more inclined to jump on the train
after they see something.
So then after all of this has happened, he calls me up one day, and he owns a barbershop. He's like, listen, what you need to do is get some beard oils and stuff so I can put it in the shop, and it could be exclusively sold there in Philly. And I'm like, he is absolutely
right.
I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm like, give me a few weeks.
Okay.
I'm going to get on it. And I want to say it took me 2 or 3 weeks. I had 4 different scents and a beard balm, a beard oil, and a cologne. I sent them all to him with labels on them. And I'm like, tell me what you think. I don't have, at the time, my husband was out to sea. So I'm like, look at them and tell me, will men buy this label? Because, I mean, I do everything. I design my own labels. I jar everything. I seal everything. I market. I do it all. So I designed these labels, hoping it would target men. He put them in the shop. He sold the whole sample pack that day to men, just like, hey man, what's that? And he like, you want to smell it? Hey man, let me get that up off you. Sold the whole thing. Called me maybe 2 days later and was like, listen,
I need some more.
You need to go, you need to do this because it's popping up here and, my customers love it and he wants to, offer it while he's doing hair and stuff. And then, of course, sell it for me on my behalf. So, again, that support, man, that You need that. You need those people to give you that honest feedback, because my beard oil could have been trash,
Trash, right.
But he used it. He used it on himself. He used it on his customers. Then they bought it, Then,
right.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you in the soap. You got the scrubs. You got the beard oil.
Yeah.
So is there any new product in sight? Or are you kind of honing in on what you got now? Like what are you seeing now? Because I'm assuming in the industry and the business that you're in, and based on what you said earlier, you got to kind of keep either adding to the portfolio or kind of reinventing what you already have.
Reinventing.
Okay.
Definitely coming out with like seasonal things.
Okay, right.
Just to kind of mix it up, limited edition things. I come out with. I don't have full collections of everything, but every month I come out with a full collection of something, and it's only limited to the amount that I make.
Right. Got you.
Yeah. So urgency to buy. My friend also has a business. I scream that to her all the time, like, man, you got to create urgency to buy. Yep. If you always have it, it's always on sale.
They're going to always take their time to buy it.
They always going to take their time to buy it. So I come out with stuff, and I'm like, I got 40 of these, and I'm not making no more for the rest of the year.
Right.
If you own it.
Yep. And you know what? That's part of marketing. I tell people all the time, when you make things exclusive, it makes people feel like they're getting something that's
special to them. Nobody else could get.
That's special to them. And I always use the example. I don't know if you familiar with the Supreme clothing line. Mm-hmm. Supreme just got Supreme.
Supreme on it.
But it costs one Supreme shirt. It costs a whole outfit of anything else costs. Because they make you think it's not a lot of Supreme. And whether it is or it's not, people are willing to go out there
and pay for
and make that purchase. Or you hear people say, limited time only. Limited time only. I don't get. McDonald's can make 1,000 McRibs if they want to, but if they tell you got a month to get in on these McRibs.
Everybody's flocking getting them McRibs, and that's the premise. Wow. And I think a lot of just looking around at my peers, because that's another thing I do. You got to look at the competition. You got to see what they're doing. Yep. You got to look at the big boys. But just looking at other people that started when I did, like I'll be looking at them like, man, that can't be on sale for 6 months.
Right,
right.
Because
I'm like, I'm gonna get it next week. It's always on sale. That's what people gonna say. And I just, I try to look at what other people are doing and try to make it work for me.
Yeah.
And I've been real successful like that, just making calculated decisions.
Right.
That's the point.
Yep.
A lot of people just jump out there without looking. You got to make those calculated decisions.
Right. Elaborate on the competition thing, because sometimes I think we kind of lose sight of that and how important that is. You have to pay attention to the competition. You don't have to copy them. You don't have to envy them, but you need to know what the other people in your industry doing.
Absolutely.
You might get left behind. They tapping into a new app.
Exactly. Them trends.
Yeah, them trends. So tell me how did that work out, and tell people how important it is to pay attention to the competition, the other people in your industry.
Yeah, so you gotta, one, if I didn't come out with these seasonal scents, people want pumpkin spice, but you can't have pumpkin spice all year.
Because it's not pumpkin spice no more, right? It don't mean exactly.
So you got to look at other people and say like, dang, they come out with all these fall type smelling things, and look, Bath and Body Works is my biggest,
Right.
That's the best person in my industry to look at. Simply just watching how they create that urgency to buy, and I feel like that's my whole marketing. That's my whole strategy is creating that at all times. I barely run sales, but when I do,
sell out.
Man, they be flocking, and I never announce it. It just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
So, do you ever try to get in, like, you brought up Bath and Body Works. Have you ever considered that? Has it ever been like one of your thoughts to try to get your products in a retail store, whether it's Walmart, Bath and Body Works, whatever, or you kind of want to stay away from getting into those retail stores?
It feels like it's so far out of reach that when I look at the pace of my business, it could be any month now. It could be any day now. So, to be honest, I never imagine me being in someone else's store because I want to stand on my own. Okay. I want to be Bath and Body Works. I want to be my own building. You come to see me. I don't want you to go to Target.
So you want to make your products exclusive to your customer base.
To my customer base. Like I said, I don't want to be on the shelf in Target next to a bunch of other soaps. I want you to come to my store and buy from me.
Okay.
So I know for a fact I'm gonna ride this online thing till the wheels fall off because
it's the new wave anyway.
It's the new wave after COVID. Anyway. It really became the new wave.
It's the new wave. Yeah. So that's your thing. That you strictly online. People want to get it. They order and they're gonna ship it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. We typically ship within like 1 or 2 days.
Okay.
Since my influx of orders, it's been more like 5 days, but I'm getting them out as fast as I can. Me and my mom.
Wow. Man, I'm so glad to hear this story. I really am. It's inspiring. I hope that people watching this inspired because just from the beginning, you didn't think. First of all, you was working a job that you really didn't want to do. Started to find yourself frustrated. No, you don't want to do this. I want more. Now and then in life we see so much more. Then we don't know how to. We see us here, and then we see we want.
Yeah, you see what you want.
And then the middle part is. Hold on, ain't gonna get me there, or the warehouse ain't gonna get me there, or whatever it is, ain't gonna get me there.
Exactly.
So something got to trigger, and then COVID happens. And I just love because your stories is what I prefer to hear, man. We hear so much of people lost their house, they lost their jobs, they lost their cars, and they went depressed. It's like, man, everybody I know figured it out. It was like, nah, I'm gonna start this business. Nah, I'm gonna get my credit right. Nah, I'm gonna, so. Depends on what everybody got the same 24 hours, regardless. So whatever you allow COVID to do to you really is on you. And all right, so man, first give the people your website, where all they can find you, where they can order your products from.
All right, you can shop with me on ishopunique.com. ishopunique, all one word.com. Shop with me on Etsy. You can look me up, Uniquely Bath, on Etsy. And you can follow me on Instagram, uniquely_bath on Instagram.
All right. Oh, man, I really appreciate you, Kaleisha, for coming through here.
I appreciate you having me.
No problem. I really appreciate it, man. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I really hope that this story inspires you. Because we're still in the midst of COVID. Some people still feeling affected by some of the things that happened in COVID. So don't let it taking you down, don't let it keep you down. Hope you use her story and other stories to say, you know what, I'm going to use this as my reason to do more and strive for more. So thank y'all for tuning in to The Servant Real on ServantKing TV. I'm your host, Servant King. See you next week.